Good morning, good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to the cloud coaching session. For today, you will see migrate your Oracle database to OCI using ZDM, Zero-Downtime Migration. I am Violetta. Together with me, it's our presenters, Billy and Amal. And my colleague Tom, and we are here to guide you and to help you in this live session. So today, what you will actually see would be a first-hand look on how to complete both physical and logical online migrations. The session will conclude in live demos. So in case you have an Oracle cloud account, we encourage you to log in and take this journey together with Billy and Amal. Today, I'm joined by my colleagues, Billy and Amal. They will tell you more about themselves shortly. Another important thing I would like you to be aware is that everything you see in this call is for educational purposes. So in case anyone would like to use our services further, you may always connect with somebody from the Oracle account team. Also, keep in mind that our products are enhanced regularly, so you might find some differences within the menu in case you watch any of our cloud coaching recordings in the future.
Bilegt, I'll pass over to you, dude, and best of luck.
Okay, sorry about the hiccup. All right, I need to move this Zoom screen because it's probably blocking. Okay, there we go. So thank you again for joining the session, Zero Downtime Migration to OCI. It is a part of many cloud developer series, okay? And special thanks to the organizers. My name is Bilegt. I'm part of Oracle Solution Center, where we provide hands-on workshop, demo, and POC around Oracle technologies. And my co-presenter is Amalraj. He's an experienced cloud data management specialist from our domain specialist team. In the next hour, we will show you what is the ZDM and the brief overview about the product, and followed by a small demo, okay? So let's take a look and talk about what is Zero Downtime Migration tool and what can you achieve with this. There are many benefits of using a ZDM tool, Zero Downtime Migration tool. For small to large migration cases, it's very simple encapsulated solution, which has end-to-end automation. All right, from your source to target platform, okay, every migration step is automated using maximum availability architecture to reduce any possible data loss, okay? Because ZDM uses Oracle's best technologies such as Armen, Data Pump, Golden Gate, and Data Guard, okay, there won't be any data loss, okay? And in most of the cases, migration will be near or zero downtime. And of course, ZDM itself is free to use, okay? So there is no additional cost from the software perspective, and you can run it as long as you want, okay? How it works? Okay, so there are some prerequisites that are important to have completed before you begin to use Zero-Downtime Migration tool, okay? You must download installation file, obviously, and run the ZDM node on an Oracle Linux host. Okay, that's important. And needing 100 gigabyte of free storage, etc. Okay, we will share the necessary links to download the software and installation guides later. Okay, so there are some prerequisites, and you can fulfill it easily. Okay, and any migration in ZDM, okay, it's a fully orchestrated and controlled by a highly customizable response file in which you specify source and target information, okay, migration options and migration methods, etc. Okay. All right, so let's take a moment on this slide. So as you can see, we have some information about source, platforms, and supported targets. Okay, ZDM supports standard edition and enterprise edition at source. Okay, and from 11G to 21C versions. Okay, it can be your running in your on-premise database, and or it can be in other clouds. Okay, we support also Linux platform as a source, and if necessary, conversions like big endian to little endian, etc. You can also do it using logical migration. Okay, and you can migrate on-premise database to any of our OCI databases, as you can see here. Okay, it is including multiple different Exadata solutions. Okay, clouded customer. Okay, or it could be your Exadata on-premise. Okay, and it can be Oracle base database service, and it's also can be Oracle Autonomous Database in OCI. Okay. All right. 21.4 version is out now. Okay, and we are not here to explain new features. Okay, every new release there are tons of new additions and improvements. Okay, but we are purely going to focus on how easy is the migration using ZDM in this the session today. So stay tuned for the ZDM product management webinar if you want to get more information about new releases. Okay, and they do great sessions for the new product update. Okay. As Tom already explained, we're going to talk about migration methodologies and scenarios today. As you heard from him, so it's like a football game, all right? First half and second half. So the first half is going to be on talking about the physical migration, okay? And the second half, we will talk about the logical migration, okay? So we have physical and non-logical, as I said, okay? In each of these migration option, we have online and offline methods, or shall we say workflow, okay? Physical migration, the ZDM takes Armand backup and sends to the backup location, okay? That is basically the offline, okay? You can run this between the standard edition to standard edition to enterprise edition to enterprise edition. Okay, so the version like, so that the migration offline. Okay, so and then online, that's more fun. Okay, it's on top of this Armand backup and restore method. Okay, we use data guard. Okay. And that will actually ensure your databases and the source and target database are in sync. Okay, and this will be actually in my colleague Amal will try to demonstrate in the next session. Okay, and then in the second half, the logical migration, we're going to talk about how it can be migrated from source standard edition to enterprise edition databases. Okay, it is a quite similar approach. Okay, it takes data pump from the source database, okay, and send it to some storage to keep doing a data pump and send to your source database, and from source to target database, and on top of it, it uses Golden Gate to keep the database in sync. All right, so we're going to talk about the logical online migration workflow and physical online migration workflow in the next half an hour. Okay. Now I will hand over to my friend Amal. Okay, he will present physical migration scenario with a demo. Over to you, Amal.
Yeah, thank you, Bilegt. Just give me a second. I'll just. Okay, so once again, welcome everyone. Like Tom said, first half we will be focusing on the physical online migration. So let's get started. So let's have a look at how does it look like the architecture. So you have an on-premise database in your data center, which is the primary, because online physical migration is actually, why should I call it primary is, or when I say physical online migration, of course, there is only one way to do that is using data guard. So in data guard, of course, you need a primary and a standby. So your primary is your database, which is the source, which is in your data center. And from there, you need a connection to the Oracle Cloud infrastructure. Either it can be over the internet using a VPN, or you can use a fast connect, which is more reliable. So once you have that connectivity to the Oracle Cloud infrastructure, then you choose what kind of target you need to choose it, whether you want a Oracle-based database or you want to put it in XRCS. Of course, there are a lot of things behind that sizing. But again, suppose you just consider that you have a target in the OCI. So you have your source and your target, you have the connectivity, and you also have an object storage bucket that is to keep your backups. Again, this is not always required. Some cases you can have a direct migration without the backup, but in today's demo, we will be using an object storage bucket. So basically, once these things have been in place, okay, the next step is, of course, you need the software, ZDM. So like Billy mentioned, it is an 800 MB software, which you can download and put it on a compute host. Either you can put it in the source, I mean, when I say source in your data center, or you can put it as a compute, which is easy in the Oracle Cloud infrastructure. So once all these prerequisites have been met, okay, then we are actually, we can actually start the migration. By the first step in starting a migration is to have your response file. So response file is the one you specify what kind of migration you want to, you want to start it. So again, we don't want to focus too much on the slides. So it will be a mix of slides and demo, because the demo takes around 20 minutes. So while the demo is going on, I'll be showing some phases in the demo. And when it is taking time, we will again come back to the slide. So let me take you to the ZDM host. Let me change the font for a second. Okay. Yeah, I think it looks better now. So this is the ZDM host. When I say ZDM service host, this is where I have installed that 800 MB software. So this is just a compute in the OCI, but I have installed a ZDM and it is up and running now. So if you want to check it, whether it is running, I have a command which I put it in the shell script. Yeah, so ignore this one. Actually, it is showing running as true. So your ZDM is actually running. So the next step is, like I said, we need a response file. So let me go back to the location of the response file. So if you can see, response file has different parameters. One is the target DB unique name. So this is the whatever you have provision in the target, it has a DB unique name. Of course, if you're from a database background, you know that. So that is something unique to the target. Of course, it will be different from the source. So you specify that. And for the online physical, you have to specify migration method as online physical. Of course, for offline physical, it is something different called offline physical. And data transfer medium, for most of the migrations, it will be object storage. But yes, there are some cases in case of an XRCC or in case your target is on premises. Of course, there are different mediums which you can choose it. And host is actually the REST endpoint for your object storage. So this is easily your Swift object storage and your region name followed by V1. And this is an object storage namespace. How to get this, again, I'll show you in a bit. And OPC container, this is actually the bucket in the OCI where the backups will be actually taken from the source and it will be used while restoring to the target. So in this case, like I said, okay, there can be different platforms which you can put it in the target, I mean in the OCI. But in this case, for today's demo, I'll be using an Oracle-based database. So for the purpose of this response file, it is called as VMDB. Of course, what is this VMDB? Everything that is all clearly documented. So for XRCC, it will be something different. And whether you want to shut down the source, okay, that means once you have completed the migration, do you want to shut down your primary DB, which is original primary DB, which will actually become a standby during the migration. So if you want to shut it down, you can specify it as source. So now we have everything ready to start a migration. So we have a physical online, online response file. We have the ZDM up and running. The next thing is we will have to start an evaluation. So evaluation is actually kind of a dry run. It doesn't perform any of the migration steps, but it checks the necessary things like whether your source is, all the prerequisites on the source has been met, or everything on the ZDM part is fine. You can they install objects, Oracle Backup Cloud module. So a couple of the prerequisites, it checks it. So in the interest of today's time, right, I have already done the evaluation. Okay, so that I will again show you how to run an evaluation. And again, in the interest of time, before jumping into the evaluation, let us start the actual migration. And then while it is running, of course, I'll come back and show you how does the evaluation run and what are the output and out. So let me show you how to start the migration. So this is the command for starting the migration. I just exported the ZDM home, and followed by this is the command. Again, I'll explain the details of the command and what kind of flags and everything you need to use it. But again, like I said, right, the migration is going to take some time. So being conscious of the time, let us initiate the migration and then come back and explain. So one thing to be noted here is I have put a pause after this particular phase. Again, what is the significance? I'll come back and explain. But for now, let us start this migration. So you just, I've already shown the command. Contents of that. You just put sh migration pause.sh. And then it'll ask for your couple of things. One is the source database sys password. Of course, this should be the same in the target also. So it has been given. Next one is a password for this user, and what it is. Again, I'll explain you while I get into the console. Okay. So now you can see it has initiated a migration with a job called job ID 21. So again, I have put the ZDM commands to monitor this job in a shell script. So I'll use that as such. Migration status.sh and with 21 ID. Okay, so now you can see I'll show you migration status. I'm just using a command like this. So basically I'm using this command ZDM CLI query job ID, and I'm using 21, and it will show me the status of each of the phases. So this is what I told. It is going to take 20 minutes from beginning to end. That is for my DB because it's a very small DB with 20 GB. For your database, again, depending on the size, it can take more time, and how to optimize it, again, I'll explain in the session. So now let us try to check the status again. Okay. So this keeps going on. It started checking the source, and it checks wherever you see SRC, it is related to the source, and wherever you see TGT, it is related to the target. So it's easy to identify. So as you can see, a couple of phases already completed, and it may not make much sense to you this overall view, what it is being done. So that is why we have a log file where you can go and see what it actually does. Okay, so if you see the log file, you can see it does a couple of things. It checks, okay, so many things for the source, okay, retrieving the information from the source. It actually, for the target, it checks what should be the target data disk group where you should place the data files. So everything in detail, you will be able to see it here. Of course, if you want to see much more details when the backup is happening, you can go to the source database alert log and see there. And while the target is being restored or cloned, of course, you can go to the target DB, cloned, alert log file to see more details. But if you are not too much interested, okay, you can, of course, have most of the details from this log file. So this is the detailed one. Let us go back to the high level view. Okay. Yeah, so from the beginning till around validate target, it goes very fast because it's only validations. And then when it starts the backup of the source, yes, it depends on your DB size. If it is a 5 terabyte DB, yes, it can take some time, okay? Again, you don't have to take all those time for the migration, which I'll explain later. So let us wait, how it is proceeding now. Okay. So it has started the full backup. Now it is a good time to go and check our cloud console. So let me bring up that. Just give me a second. So I didn't log in it before, so it takes another 2-3 minutes. Okay, so we are in the console now. Okay, let us go to the bucket. So this is the bucket we have specified. It's a DMCC. It was there in the response file. So if you go to the file sync, you will be able to see for the database ORCL. This is our source database for today's date. Yes, you can see a couple of files. So as you can see, it has already started pushing the backups from the source to the object storage bucket. So that is the current phase which is going on now. So let us see once again the status. Yeah, so the full backup has been completed. It has gone for the incremental backup. So that is, let it continue. So we will come back once it reaches this particular phase. This is a phase ZDM configure DG source. This is the phase where we have put a pause. So that has been put intentionally because this will be really helpful when you do an actual migration. So what happens at this phase is when you reach this phase, you have your source and target with Oracle Data Guard configured, which means whatever you do on the source, it will be replicated to the target. So until this phase, actually, it doesn't need any downtime apart from the fact that when you take a backup from the source, yes, there will be a slight impact. But apart from that slight impact on the backup, everything until this stage can be done online. So which means you have a database of say 25 TB or a 5 TB, and you don't want to spend all the time from the beginning till the end in a downtime window. So basically until ZDM configure DG source, it is an online activity. So you can plan it on a weekend or a weekday based on how busy your application is. And once you reach up to this phase, your source and target keep syncing. You don't have to worry. And then whenever your downtime is approved, maybe on a next weekend, then you come and resume from this phase, which means all your backup, restoration, and keeping the target in sync, everything is done. So you don't need the big downtime for transferring 5 TB, 25 TB backups and then restoring. So it really saves time for migration. You just need the downtime where you come and say, yes, go to target, switch over, and then perform some few steps for that is why we call it as physical online migration, because it is kind of an online where you spend really less time in migrating a DB, however big it is, using physical migration. So let this continue because some of these steps is going to take some time. Okay. Yeah, good. So the clone target is going to take some time. So let it continue because it is going to have put a pause when it reaches there. So in the interest of time, like I jumped directly into the migration, but before this migration, like I said, we should have done an evaluation that is already done. So let me see instead of 21, let us give the ID 20. Okay. So for the evaluation, okay, it has done. Okay, if you can see the job type is eval and it has succeeded and it has taken 3 minutes. Okay. Now let me explain what is the command, because I told you in the interest of time, I directly jumped into the migration. Now this is a good time where I can explain what is the parameter that is given in the ZDM migrate command. So if you look at here, it actually basically executes a command like this: ZDM ZLA migrate database. You specify the source SID. Okay, this is for a single instance. For a grid infrastructure or rack, it will be something slightly different, this particular flag. And then you specify the source node. So source node is nothing but this is the host name. Of course, when you specify the host name here, this should be resolvable from the ZDM host. So this is already put in the etc host. And source authentication until 21.3, there was only one authentication, which is called ZDM AUT, which means you need to use a user, whatever user you specify here, it should have the sudo privileges to execute some specific commands. But from 21.4, there is another authentication called DB user. So instead of having a user like called OPC, which can actually perform sudo privileges in, like an Oracle user, Oracle software owner. Instead of that, you can directly use the software owner itself, like Oracle user itself here. So again, that is a choice which one you want to use. And what is a private key file for this particular user? It is again the SSH private key which you want to log in. And since the ZDM or AUTH needs sudo privileges, what is a sudo command location that you need to specify? And similarly, you are specifying the target DB node. Again, this is the host name and this is the user. So when I say backup user, this is the user of your cloud console. Okay. So this is the user. When you log in here, you will be able to see the user here. And that is the username you are specifying it as a backup user, because it is this user, this user has created a bucket onto which the backups will be transferred. So that is why we specify that. Now let us go back here. And this is the response file, which I had already shown you what is the content of this response file. Okay, what all things we specify there. And then again, target authentication. So target authentication is again until 21.3, I told there is only ZDM AUTH. From 21.4, yes, there is a different authentication which you can use it. And again, you specify the private key file for this user. This is the user which you're going to log into the target. And what is the private key file? And then again, the sudo location for that particular user. And at the end, you just specify an eval command just to indicate that this is not the actual migration. Instead, it is just an evaluation or a dry run. So this is what it does, and it performs all these checks, and you should be able to see everything as passed. In case you see something has failed, okay, you can go back to that particular file and see, a particular log file which I mentioned here. You will be able to see what is failed. For example, let me show you an example of failure. So instead of 20 or 21, let us go to 19. You can see something has been failed here. And if you want to see more details, let us open this one. Yes, you can see ZDM source was validated because I had given an invalid password. So all the details, if it fails, you should be able to go to that log file and you should be able to see it. Now let us go back to our original run, which is 21. Okay, so it's still going on. Like I said, the clone target is actually going to take some time. But let's open the log file and see, the details, how it is doing. So if you look at the, log file, instead of, you might be thinking that it is already stuck at the clone target, but it's not the case. As you can see in the clone target, it is doing multiple things. It is actually dropping the Oracle _T, that is the target DB. It has already dropped it, and then it creates a new DB, and then it registers it, and it restores the SP file. So all these things in detail you will be able to see. But this is going to take some time, so we will leave as it is. And we'll come back to our slides to give you an idea about how does this actually happen. Okay, so let me bring down this one. Okay, so this is where we started, and then we jumped into the physical online migration demo. And this is the demo environment. Our source database is within Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. It is a compute instance, and target is in OCI. Again, we are using an Oracle-based database VMDB system. ZDM is also a compute instance within the OCI. for this particular demo. So what it does is what ZDM, like you have seen now, okay, when we initiate the migration, it connects to the source, it connects to the target, it connects to ZDM, and it checks all the pre-checks, okay? It checks whether it can actually do the migration. And then as a next step, it takes the backup that you have seen now. It takes a backup of your source and it pushes it to the object storage. And from there, the next step is it actually instantiates the standby. When I say instantiate, it actually builds a standby. It drops the existing DB, which you had created as part of this migration. It is a placeholder DB. It drops it, and then it restores everything. That is the current phase it is going on now. So once the current phase has been completed, next you will be able to see we have put a pause. Okay, and that pause, what happens is it keeps singing the source and target. Okay, but no, nothing, it won't change. It hasn't changed the roles yet. So at this phase, until this phase, you will be able to do it in online. Then when you want to actually migrate your application or migrate your database to cloud, then you come and resume the job, where it actually, what happens is it switches the roles. It makes your primary database as your, in the whatever you have in the cloud, it makes it as primary, and whatever you have in your own premises, it makes it as a standby. And finally, it performs some more validations at the target, and then finishes the DG configuration. It cleans up everything, and that is how it ends the migration. Of course, you can do, there are flexibilities where you can, you don't want the ZDM to do the switchover for you. If there are any issues which you're encountering using ZDM, you can do the switchover manually and then come back and say yes to the ZDM, like, you can skip the switchover and continue with other steps. So all those flexibilities there. Again, like I said, we'll jump back to the, ZDM host and see what's happening there.
Amal, I'm just conscious of the time. Do you want to stick with this, or do you want to pass it over to Bilegt?
Maybe I'll take. Yeah. I will just see maybe like another 1 or 2 minutes, and then I think I should be. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. So now, like I said, okay, it has completed up to DG source. Okay, but it has not started any other the phases, because that is where we have put a pause, and you can see pause after this phase. So it is done with pause, and this is where you come back. Okay, you do this resume. This is the phase. You decide, okay, when you want to have a downtime, and then come back and resume it. So I'll show you what is there in the migrate resume. So here you simply say resume the job. Okay. Again, if you want to put a pause after any other phase, you can do it. But for now, I'll just try to. I don't want to put any further pauses here. We'll just put migrate resume and then just put 21. That's it.
Yeah. So Amal, I have a question. So you pause the job until ZDM configure _ DG source.
Yeah.
All right. And there, from then you continue the job until the end to the ZDM cleanup target stage. Okay. So would you actually have a possibility to do the manual switchover from that stage?
Yeah, see, at this stage, you have already given the control to switch over source, but at any point of time, right, there is something called you can suspend it, okay? But basically, this is a bit tricky because you already given DG source and go ahead. The next step itself is the DG, switch over source, okay? But if you have not resumed, of course, you can do the manual switchover and then come back and resume. While resuming, you can say skip switchover. Now this is kind of you have already given it to proceed, and then it becomes very tricky unless you suspend it and then manually abort it or anything. The best thing is if you don't want to do switchover by the ZDM before resuming, in the resume command itself, or before resuming you do manual switchover, and then when you want to resume you say skip switchover. There are no flags for that.
Yeah.
That's
good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like, again, it is going to take some time. I have done the resume, but this is like, we don't want to spend another 5-6 minutes just looking at know what it is going to happen, but surely I'll just once again show you, let it continue. I will show you another command. Let us say go back to 18 or something. If I can show you how does it looks like. Okay, I don't think it's not even 18. Yeah, so basically once it starts with the other phase after the resume, you will be able to see at the end of migration something like this. All the phase has been completed neatly and the ZDM has exited gracefully. So this is regarding that is what we wanted to cover in terms of physical online migration. Now over to Billy for logical online migration. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. A nice session, Amal, actually. The physical migration is always fun. It's really nice to see the actual data movement. But in the logical migration, well, it's cooler also because we are moving the files at the logical level. Okay, so we are on top. It's quite a different approach. Okay, because we're going to take the data pump, right, from the source database, yeah, and they send it over to the target database and restore it there. Then the Golden Gate apparently jumps and to configures the database, the source and target database in sync, and people quite feels afraid, I would say, when they hear the Golden Gate. Okay. But the ZDM is the orchestration tool, all right? It encapsulates all of these solutions, okay? Makes your life much easier. The extraction of the source from the source and applying to the target database, those trail files. You actually don't need to know anything about the Golden Gate to use the ZDM, okay? So this is one cool thing about the ZDM, okay? So let me I hope you can see my screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Here now you can see my console and the screen, I hope. And on top, as you can see, all right, this is the command that Amal actually ran for the physical migration. Okay. Only differences I'm going to mention because it's quite same command anyway. ZDM command line interface, migrate database, okay? And the response file, you have to mention it, and that is only for the logical migration, okay? They have different response files. And you have to mention source database, okay? And as he mentioned also, what is the authentication method? Fine, that's okay. And the target database information and target authentication, okay? And here I have actually included a couple of things extra here. It's called wallet. All right, this is also something you can do without actually providing a password. So Amal actually showed you how, when he runs the migration job, he entered the password from the command line. Okay, you can do that. And also you can also add the wallet file. And this way you can automate the job much easier without actually entering the password, okay? So you can do this one also. All right, and let me show you the response file quickly, what's in there, and then we're going to start the migration, all right? So as I said, there will be the Golden Gate included, okay? So we have some couple of actually more, the parameter files have to be provided in the response file, okay? And the first thing first is the migration method. It should be online logical, and I would like to transfer my database back up to the object storage. So that would be the transfer medium, okay? And you have some target database information, all right, and source database information. If the source database is a container database, you have to add source container database information. And if it's not, you don't have to mention this one. Okay, and the source PDB information. All right, so where it is actually now hosting, you provided this the host names. Okay, and some OCI authentication details. Okay, exactly how Amal actually showed. You can also put it here. You can add your tenancy information. All right, and the user principal. Okay, and etc. And something most important is the what are you going to do with the data pump? Okay, how are you going to extract the data? So we're going to take the demo2 source from the schema from the source database, and we would migrate to the target PDB database. All right, and here is my Golden Gate hub information. Okay, you can install the Golden Gate in your network, or you can install it in OCI as a compute instance. Okay, so you can do in any way you want. And I installed Golden Gate 21 version. Okay, and I added my the migration deployments. Okay, and some wallet files important for authentication and the passwords and the Golden Gate admin users. Okay, so all of this information I created added in the wallet file, so we don't need to see, and just for the security purpose. Okay, so there's something you also notice, that how do you see this in the phases of the migration? Okay, so you need to add extra flag list phases. Okay, and that will show you where you need to go to the migration. Okay, so I'm going to run this migration job until a ZDM switcher app, and as actually Amal showed you, he ran until this phase and the DG switcher phase and continued. So you can actually stop and resume the job, okay, in any way you want. Okay, so I'm going to run this job. All right, so it will be paused after. All right, and select the stage. All right. There you go. You can also put this in the shell script, or you can run it from the command line as it is. Okay, so here what actually has given is the job ID, and you run this command ZDML CLI query job and job ID and that number. All right, so let's take a look here. So it is going to run similar sort of things, pre-check, let's say evaluation. Okay, it checks the validating the target database and source database. Are they reachable? Okay, and if they are, okay, it starts to configure the ZDM on this and the source database. Okay, so we actually can tail this log. Okay, and let's talk about it. All right, so it is validating the target database. Okay, fine, target is reachable, and it found the PDB information which I provided in the response file. Okay, and got the information of the database. It's 19C. All right, and my source database, it's also found, and the source database is 12C. So as you can see, from two different versions, now it is going to import do the migration. Okay, and then after that, once it's resolved, it runs the Cloud Pre-Migration Advisor tool, which is important because it needs to check your database of the source database can be migrated to the target platform. It checks that some certain tasks, like it checks how do you call that character sets. It's quite important, because if character set doesn't match, it gives you small warning here. Okay, and what to do. Okay, so it is passed. Okay, the migration and job can be continued, and then it checks the Golden Gate hub. All right, everything is reachable, the location is good, it is running. All right, so validates the Golden Gate hub and continues it. Okay, and then now it is taking the backup. All right, so let me go to the PowerPoint. Okay, so here, all right, so it is actually checking at the moment. All right, checking if the source database was reachable. Okay, if it can take the data pump, etc. Okay, currently it is running how much it will take. All right, it is running the data pump estimate job. Okay, and then now it runs the Golden Gate to configure extract. Okay, So why it is important? The first, we need to set up the extract job here, because you need to continue the configure the sync between the source and target without data loss, right? So the first golden you need to start capturing before you take in the backup. So that's why it is it's configuring the extract job to the source database. All right, and then once the extract job is up and running, it will take the data pump based on the some CSN number. Okay, now I'm going to show you what does it look like in my Golden Gate Hub. Okay, all right, you see it already had created one extract. Okay, and if you go and see the parameter, it found my source database, okay, and found my PDB information and the schema, and everything included in that schema, it's going to export. All right, we're going to see now in the what's in the source database. All right, source database, I have only 2 tables. Okay, one has 6 tables and 1 rows, and one has 200,000 rows. And in the target database, it's empty. So schema don't exist there. Okay, so that makes sense. Now it is going to import this demo2 schema to the target database and continue. After the import finished, it will continue applying the changes from the source while the data pump was running. Okay, so that will happen after the import job. Okay, so let me show you this this stage. All right, so it is currently waiting for a response confirmation from the Golden Gate Hub. Okay. All right, so here what's currently going to happening in this now is waiting for the extract job to be started, and then once it's started, okay, once it's started, it will take the data pump from the source database based on the CSN number. Then it will send it over to the target database, and it will import it. Okay, it will import from the cold backup from the data pump. Okay, and we can see in the down there now. Here it is. It's running the export, running in 4 parallel. Okay, so data pump is extracting the schema. Okay, and you can see that the log is uploaded to the bucket. All right, that's something also interesting to see. Okay, in the bucket. So this is the bucket we have in the OCI object Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Okay, and there we will see some interesting files. Okay, you can probably, yep. All right, so it is uploading this, the dump. Okay, let me see the buckets, right? Because, all right, and now it's running the data pump import to the target database. Okay, which is good. All right, so we go in the bucket file. It should be some files there. All right, so currently now it is importing the target, the data pump to the target database. Okay, you see, you can see there we have some dump files already, and the export log, and the pre-migration CPAT and the job report. Okay, so they are here already, and after the data pump import job is finished, it will remove all of these dump files. Okay, so you don't have to worry, you know, how long will it stay there, you know, will it be lost or something, so it will be gone anyway. Okay, so uploading the dump file. Okay, now it's running the import job. All right, and import job is finished. Okay, so the log is already uploaded to the bucket, so we can probably see the log file here, but I'm more interested in if it's in my target database. All right, let me see that. You see, so in my target database, DB target, now I have this two tables already imported. One has the 200,000 rows. Okay, one is just 6, that's fine. And it is already uploaded, which is good. And if you go to the Golden Gate now, it is adding it's added the replicate, okay, applying the trail file which this extract has captured from the source, and now applying to the target database. All right, so making sure they are in sync after the data pump import. Okay, and so what we can expect now here, there are some database inserts and updates and deletes happening at the source side. Everything is now being replicated to the target database. Okay, so database actually is in sync, so there is no data loss now. Okay, it's running in sync in real time. So, and you can see then it is now waiting that it's now expecting to the replicate to be started. And if we go and check the job status, okay, so we have set the migration job until this stage. Okay, ZDM switchover app. Okay, usual migration scenario, you run the job until this stage, ZDM monitor GG lag. So there you actually make sure your source and target database, there is not much of changes to my source, so there won't be so much lag between the source and target databases. Okay, imagine it's in the middle of the night, you are actually in the edge of the the migration job. Okay, you are about to switch over your application from source to target. Okay, then you check the status. Okay, all right, so you check the status. Okay, if it's okay, if there's no lag, fine. Now it means I need to show it here. Okay, now in my databases, all right, they are in sync. Okay, they are in sync. The extract and replicate is working fine. No changes in my source database. I'm going to shut down my application connection to the source database. I'm going to stop that application connection, and I will redirect my application connection to my target database, just to avoid there won't be any inserts and updates and any changes to my source database, and making sure everything is connected to the target. Okay, so, and then at this stage, your migration is completed basically, but ZDM is going to wait until there is no change. Okay, because there is a handshake, they're waiting for the source and to answer completely. Okay, no lag. So ZDM waits that acknowledgement, okay, and finish the migration job. So basically, if at this stage, after the ZDM monitor GG lag, okay, you confirm that there is no changes to the source database, you redirect your application to the target. Okay, everything is now pointing to the target database, and ZDM will finish this step. Okay, we can see now how it is going. All right, now it tells you that my there is no lag. Okay, and now I'm trying to switch over from source to telling you to the switch over your application, and okay, point your source the application connectivity from source to target. So you have to do this manually if you do it. Okay, if your application supports that kind of thing automatically, which is good. So we can safely assume that now migration job is pretty much finished. Okay, now it's checking this one, expecting the lag to finish. Okay, so currently there's 44 seconds. Okay, it's nothing, and we actually can go and check the parameters, what was there, and statistics. Okay, if there is any changes. Okay, if there was any change, insert, update, delete, anything, we could have seen here, but we didn't do any real update of this migration the demo purpose. Okay, so let's see the job again. All right, as soon as this is completed, we can continue this the ZDM without pause after flag. We will just run the job, this job again without the flag. So it means I want to run it until the end. Okay, but you also can run it until the post switchover target. Who knows? If you want, you can just do that. Actually, adding the pause after, and then mention that stage. It's also possible. Okay. So let's check yeah, that one is that. Okay, so we're going to take, I think this one waits around 5 minutes to let you to point out everything and make sure you pointed the application to the target database. Okay, so if you go to the slides now, all right, ZDM then once we continue the job, now ZDM will cleans up and finalizes, meaning that it will remove the files it has been created during the migration job. Okay, so no more mess. You won't see any ZDM related file at the source and target database apart from the logs. Okay, so I am actually finished the slides, but anyway we can actually check that. Yeah, it will take 2-3 more minutes and we'll finish the actual job. Okay, but meaning that it is already there, and if we can refresh the bucket, we probably will see the dumps are gone now. Okay, and yeah, that will be it. Okay, so after a few minutes it's going to stop the extract and stop the replicate and remove everything and finalize and do the cleanup job. Okay,
Bilegt, we can come back for 30 seconds right at the very end.
It's actually started already.
Okay,
you see it's now stopping the extract, and then it will stop the replicate, making sure you don't have any changes from the source database now. Okay, because there is no capture. If there is some changes you have probably forgot, you apply to the target source database, sorry, it won't be there anymore. Okay, you have to do it manually. So that things need to be planned and taken care of. Okay, Tom?
No, I was just saying, Bilegt, we've got to do a little bit of closing, but if you want to come back at 30 seconds right at the end just to show it, if you want. So
there we go. You can take it, yeah.
Okay, cool. Over to you, Violetta.
For today, we usually have created a boost link that you guys can use to book a private session, a private talk with our presenters. For today, there is no link available, but in case anyone would like to join a 20-minute session, a private session, to discuss on the topic we have covered today with either Amar or Billy, just come back to us, reach out to us on the public Slack workspace, and then we will make sure you get all the information regarding the time, the hour, and the Zoom link that you need to use in order to attend this call. That was all from my side. Let's see if we have any other open questions. Thanks, Tom, for sharing the Pi Day event link. All right. Do we have any questions opened? I see nothing so far.
No.
Everything was touched. Thanks, Amal and Billy for answering all the questions.
I mean, Violetta, I just want clarification.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Somebody asked, okay, I mean, is ZDM free for so it's not free for like a lifetime or something. If you are using ZDM with logical migration, online migration, because the logical online migration uses Golden Gate marketplace image, so that is for 6 months. Again, 6 months with a specific clause that if there is a migration which is not moving ahead or which is inactive, there is a different day clause. Okay, I don't remember that. But if a migration is continuously running more than 6 months, it will be chargeable for the golden gate. Otherwise, nobody is going to run anything like that. But just to be sure, okay, again, if it is inactive for a certain number of days, yes, there will be a charge. But otherwise, ZDM along with GG is free. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Amal. Thank you.
Good point. Yeah.
Good point. Indeed. All
And
right,
also just
Billy,
wanted to
do you
tell
want
you
to?
something.
Yeah.
The job is finished. All right. So when I resume the job, okay, you can see that it is skipping the previous stages, what we have done, okay, because it's been done already. So it don't run over again, and executes from the post switchover, okay, and all right, it removes the golden gate extract and replicate files, okay, and removes the heartbeat and removes the checkpoint, okay, everything, okay, and then cleans up the golden gate hub and cleans up the source and target databases. Okay, so I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, something more from my side, Violet. Okay, let me try to share the screen. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So when I said, right, I mean, I had given 2 inputs. Okay, Billy had automated it in a way. Your password of this user was taken from wallet. There was one more password, which is the token for this object storage. With 21.4, yes, you can use pre-authenticated buckets so that you don't have to provide the password for this user. But in case you are not using the older method, which we had shown today, you can come to auth tokens and you can come and generate an auth token. This is the second input I had given before initiating the migration. One is the sys password, and second one was you just come here and generate it, just give a description like I had given here. So you'll get a token that you can use it for a number of times. Okay, so either you can use this way or go with a pre-authenticated URL. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Great.
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for this wonderful session. I really hope that everyone attending the call found it useful. Of course, the information we have shared. In case you need further clarifications or you would like to discuss more on the topic, feel free to use either the Slack channel or come back to us via email. As I said, our cloud experts are very happy and here to help everyone interested in this particular topic. If no further questions, if everyone is okay, I would like to close the call now. Thank you all for being here with us. Thank you, Amal and Billy, for presenting, and I really hope to see you soon. Thank you and have a great day.